I don't want to be a contractor anymore. I want to do what they're doing. I want to buy real estate. And we start studying at that point. You end up on that information pipeline where you're learning. You think you don't know enough to get started. And then you start taking action and you start getting these little singles, these little doubles, and you have a couple home runs. And you have some major breakthroughs, right? I mean, so from there, I got the bug. I started looking behind the curtain like, hey, how are these people doing this? How are these people financing these purchases? How are they finding the deals, right? What do they do after they have them? And the more I dug, the more information I uncovered. And you can't unsee it. Once you learn it, it's like, yeah, well, I want to go out and do the same.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Investors Club podcast. I am your host, Marco Cabrera, and today I'm sitting down with Jason Staine, a master electrician turned real estate investor out of New Jersey. Yes, my home state. Now, he's been in construction for over 20 years. He runs S&J Holdings. He helps homeowners avoid foreclosure and even hosts a monthly meetup teaching people how to find and close deals. Now, we're going to dive into how he made the shift from tradesman to investor, the lessons he's learned along the way, and how he's building long-term wealth through real estate investing. Jason, welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. I love doing this stuff for you. We go back quite a ways, man. We've done a lot of stuff. You've come a long way. It's amazing to see where you are today.
We do go a long way. And thank you, man. Thank you for the kind words. I know you got a busy schedule. It took a little time to get you in the calendar, but we're here now. And I can't wait to see all the value that you're going to pour out for our listeners so they could get started in real estate, man.
That's it. It's all about getting started in the beginning, right? Like, going back and thinking back to how I started and how far I've come now. You end up on that information pipeline where you're learning. You think you don't know enough to get started, and then you start taking action and you start getting these little singles, these little doubles. Then you have a couple home runs and you have some major breakthroughs, right? I mean, you could totally relate to that, right? I mean,
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about getting started, man. That first deal, or just, trusting the process and actually going through with it, and then getting that proof of concept. Once you get that proof of concept, changes everything. But that leads into our first question, man. Why don't we talk about the beginning, before real estate, before you got into business, like explain what you were doing and how you
Sure.
got
So in 2003, I got into local 102. It's IBEW, electricians local up here in New Jersey. To start working, did my apprenticeship there. Everything was peachy until 2009, right? Big crash, right? Everything came to a grinding halt. I started to explore, entrepreneurial paths as a videographer in those days. Wasn't making much money. I made a few bucks here and there, but had that bug, right? I learned that I can make my own money. Eventually, got my electrical license and ventured out, started my own thing for a little bit, got a taste of that. But, while I was doing that, I mean, I'm working for real estate investors. It didn't occur to me back then that people were buying real estate and how they were buying real estate, and that anyone could do it, right? Anyone could just start making these acquisitions and investments and growing a portfolio. So from there, I got the bug. I started looking behind the curtain, like, hey, how are these people doing this? How are these people financing these purchases? How are they finding the deals, right? Like, what do they do after they have them? And the more I dug, the more information I uncovered, and you can't unsee it. Once you learn it, it's like, yeah, well, I want to go out and do the same.
Absolutely. It's like the Matrix, man. When I was introduced to this, it was like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
red
what?
red
Why isn't
pill,
everybody doing this? This is crazy. So I
the blue,
remember those
blue,
days,
blue
man.
pill or the red pill, right? The
Yeah,
blue pill or the red
exactly.
pill, right? Choose
Matrix
your path.
style. Nah, that's so true, man. So where do you think that drive came from? Like, that you wanted to build something bigger? I know the crash happened. Was there
Yeah,
something deeper than that, like family or something that
yeah.
you just knew that there was more?
There's a couple key moments in my journey when we're in the middle of the recession, and I packed a suitcase and I started traveling around the U.S. looking for jobs with the unions, right? Because in the union we're allowed to venture to other regions, other territories where there's abundance of work and labor demand, but you're not home. And I think for me, one of the big breakthroughs happened on Father's Day. It was 2014. It was Father's Day 2014. I talk about this often. We were working 7 days a week. We were working second shifts. So I think our shift was like 3 p.m. to like 2:30 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
So Sunday, it's Father's Day. I remember we're on our first break. It's 7 p.m. and I'm looking around. I'm sitting on a bench on this job, and I'm up in Albany, And so I'm not home, and I'm like, wow, this is Father's Day. This is it, right? This is what I'm doing, right? And there's a crew of 60, 70 people, and just looking at how everyone just accepts like that status quo, like there's nothing more that I could do for myself. And that, to me, that was like one of the big breaking points where I'm like, I need to learn how to make my own money. I want to be home. I want to be with my kids. I want to be with my wife. And it was a turning point for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a wake up call right there, right? Number one, being away from your family. Number two, being away celebrating Father's Day by yourself, working with a bunch of dudes that are miserable. Safe to say, just doing what they got to do to get by. I mean, that's a pretty deep aha moment. That I think that would wake up most men, fathers especially.
Yeah, there's been quite a few moments like that, and one of the my coworkers on that particular project, same project. It was probably June. Yeah, it was June 2014, May. I remember talking to him. It was like a Friday evening, right? We're working again, and he's like showing me pictures of his daughter going to prom. I'm like, dude, like you're not there to get the pictures and see your
Wow.
daughter off to prom.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I got to be here. The money's tight. The only way I could pay for a prom is because I'm here. That's how bad like the recession hit, right?
Yeah.
And the recession was 09, right? 09, right? We're talking 2014.
Yeah.
We were still feeling the residual effects of not having steady work. I mean, some people work steady through it the whole thing, right? More power to them.
Yeah.
I think had I worked steady through that, I wouldn't be where I am today. I think that's where like all those aha moments came in. And I'm like, I got to do something more. So I started contracting. And then as I was contracting, I realized like there's another level to this where it's like, well, people are hiring me. I'm a service provider.
Hmm.
What if I was the one hiring people to do the work? And then I started to look into how I can get there.
Awesome. That's awesome, man. All right. So 2008 recession hits. Boom. You're trying to figure things out. You're traveling. You're away from your family. You realize this isn't it. Come fast forward. Everybody's still feeling the aftermath of the recession. 2014, you start doing side work, right? As a
Yeah.
contractor. Then boom, you're fixing other flippers' houses, I'm assuming.
Yes.
All right.
100%. Yeah.
Got it. So now you're looking at that like, hey, this guy's not here. I'm trading my time for money. Meanwhile, he's like buying all these houses and hiring me to do all the work, right?
Yeah. Showing up in nice, shiny, brand new vehicles. I'm like, I'm dirty. I'm covered in filth. Right. I'm
Yeah,
like, this is interesting. And this guy's buying another one like next week. He wants me to go look at another one. I'm like, and then I started working for commercial developers too. So I had a lot of connections. So I mean, I was busy as a contractor. I was really busy.
which is a good thing too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a great business if that's what you want, But it sounds to me that there was more that you knew that you were destined for.
Yeah, it wasn't the end all be all for me. Like for like looking at what I understood from watching and observing, I'm like, yeah, I could do what they do. The question is how do I learn how to get there?
Yeah,
And that's where we spent probably 2017, 2018. We spent a lot of time on the information path, podcasts, books. We started going to meetups, started to meet people,
yeah,
but we didn't take action. Right, pulling the trigger and taking action. That's a big step for a lot of people,
it is.
and that's
It
where
is.
we were slow. We were slow to kind of get off and running. Right, where we're constantly learning. We need to pivot. So it took a little time to get there.
No, absolutely. Especially when you have a career, right? Like you got a trade that you went to school for, you became a master in your craft, right? And you're making money. It's not like you're not making money at this point. Yeah, you're making money, but it's about more, right? Like, am I
Yes,
going to get rich? Am I going to be able to create wealth with what I'm doing working for these people, right?
sure.
So what made you take the leap from working as an electrician to starting your own company?
I wouldn't say it was a leap. It was more like I got punted, right? So I had this account. It was just unbelievable. It was in Montclair, large land developer, commercial land developer. Close friend of mine was like, listen, we need a new maintenance guy. Do you want to be the new maintenance contractor for us? I'm like, sure. He goes, meet me. This is around 2015, 2014. He's like, meet me at 6 a.m. tomorrow, and I'll show you a bunch of jobs. And I still had my union job. Like I had taken a quick call back home, so I was home now. So I still had my union job. I had to be there at 7. He's showing me job after job after job. I just didn't show up that day. And then after he was done showing me the jobs, I'm like, when do you want me to start? He goes, today. And I was like,
Okay.
okay, well, I guess I'm not going into work anymore. And that was pretty much how, like I said, I got punted. But I put all my eggs in that basket, and I ran that. I ran that cycle for about 2.5, 3 years. It was lovely. I mean, there was work every day.
Yeah.
And then he moved on to a different career path, and a new project manager came in, and with that, they brought their own team, right? And I was on the outs because I put all my eggs in one basket.
Mm,
I mean, I couldn't get a service call at that point. It was over. Like the show was over. I calculated in like 2016, it represented 65% of my total revenue, that one account.
that one. Wow.
So I learned a valuable lesson, and I wouldn't really acknowledge that lesson until a few years later, where we'll touch base on how I got into the life insurance industry.
Mm-hmm.
But where I realized that I was still working, I owned a job, I was still working as an electrician, where I should have been selling my contractor services and hiring people to do the work that I was capable of doing, because people wanted me, not my company. So it's not scalable. I'm only one person, right? You can
Absolutely.
only replicate yourself so many hours a day on production.
Yeah.
You need to hire people that can do the work to your liking in order to replicate the type of things you want to have in your business. I didn't do that. I
Mm,
just worked every day, and I brought people in to assist, but not operate. And then I needed to step away and find other accounts, so that 65% of my revenue isn't with one account.
got it.
So they basically flushed me out around 2017, and I had an opportunity to go run a job back with the union at that time. So I'm like, screw it. I'll just do that, right? So I just went back to my safety net, which is the hall, and from there I'm like, all right, I don't want to be a contractor anymore. I want to do what they're doing. I want to buy real estate, and we started studying at that point.
Are you tired of feeling stuck, unsure how to break into real estate investing? Or maybe you've done a few deals, but now you're struggling to scale. You've heard the success stories, you've seen other flip houses or wholesaling properties, and maybe you've even tasted some success yourself. But you know there's more potential and you're looking for the next step. I get it. I've been exactly where you are. My name is Marco Cabrera, and I spent years building a real estate investing business from the ground up, starting with little to no experience. Now I'm here to guide you on your journey. Through the Investors Club, I've helped hundreds of people, whether they're just starting out or doing a few deals a month, close more deals, scale their business, and build real, lasting success. In the Investors Club, we follow a clear, proven plan to help you succeed in real estate. Learn the basics. If you're new, you'll start with an easy to follow lesson on wholesaling and house flipping. If you're experienced, we'll help you sharpen your skills and identify ways to grow. With the support of our community and practical tools, you'll start finding more deals, improving your processes, and building real momentum. Whether you're just trying to land your first deal or scaling up to six figures, we'll provide the strategies and support to take you to the next level. Now, the only thing standing between you and success is taking the next step. Join the Investors Club community today. It's free, and you'll get immediate access to online courses, resources, and a network of like-minded people ready to help you succeed. And yes, it's free. So imagine having the confidence to spot a good deal, the knowledge to close it, and a network of investors to help grow your business. Whether you're just starting or scaling, the Investors Club will guide you from your first deal to consistent long-term success as an investor. Or you can stay where you are, watching others grow, feeling like you're stuck doing the same deals or missing out on opportunities. It doesn't have to be that way. With the right guidance and support, you can move from stuck to scaling. So take action today. Log on to school.com/investorsclub. That's school, SKOOL.com/investorsclub. Let's build your real estate future together, whether you're just starting or ready to level up your game. See you there. Awesome, man. Now, I'm sure there's lessons from the trade that still help you today as a real estate investor, correct?
Massive lessons from the trade. Like I said, replace yourself, right? So anyone that's in business knows, right? You own a job until there's enough revenue that you can now hire someone that maybe does 80%, 75% of what you're capable of doing.
Yeah.
Everyone advised me to get the cheapest helper that I can get in the beginning, right? Now, it's like basically having a shadow. This person doesn't understand the safety culture, how to install. They're basically carrying your tools in cleaning up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hire someone that has a skill set that's similar to yours, and then get them the helper so that they don't lose their mind. That's what I tell everyone. And this is in any business, right? Because any business, you could absolutely be overwhelmed and stressed. If you can find someone that could do that, 80% of what you can do, that gives you the ability to go out and get new business and then continue to grow the culture, grow the customer base, whatever that looks like,
Yeah.
so that you can become more of an operator, more of an owner.
Yeah, that's so good, man. I think so many entrepreneurs or even people like in the trade, electricians, general contractors, they tend to get in their own way, right? They feel like they're the only ones that could get the job done right. And that's so false, right?
Yeah.
Once you learn how to train somebody, teach them, like you said, do at least 80% of your tasks, it frees you up to focus on the business, not work in the business, but work on the
Yes.
business, right? And
Yes.
so many people just need to learn to get out of their own way. So it's 2017 now, right?
Yes.
You had a nice home run deal, ended and they punted you out of there, right?
Fun.
In like 2 years. Then you realize you went back to the union. You're like, no, I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to do it myself. Now let's get into how you started getting into real estate at that point.
Sure. So it was there was an event. It was a Fortune Builders event that we attended. My wife and I
I went
attended
there too.
the one in May, right? Probably
What year was
May
this? What year are we in
2017.
2017?
Yeah,
Yeah,
May.
yeah, bro. I was
John
2017.
Steingraber, right? And John was the main host. I was like
Yeah,
blown away. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, my wife couldn't attend. My son had a fever, so I brought one of my other buddies, who I credit with really kind of sparking me to go out and buy property and try to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was blown away. I was like, absolutely. Like I already knew I wanted to do this. That just like lit the fire completely. I'm like, yeah, I got to figure this out.
No, it's so funny with my Fortune Builders moment. Like I was dry. I'm like, what am I going to do with my life? I want to get into real estate. How do I get into real estate? And then the commercial came on. Want to get into real estate
Yes,
with
on the radio.
no money? I'm like, yes. Like sign up, and I called, signed up, and it was like on a
Yeah.
Saturday. It was 2-day event that I went
Yes.
over in Hasbrook Heights.
Yeah, we were there. I was there. We were in the same room. We just didn't know each other yet.
That's hilarious,
But
bro.
we were in the same room. You used to live down the street from us too, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah, we
so
did. Yeah,
like, we were just happened to be in the same circles.
no,
It just
yeah, we're literally around the
crazy,
corner
right?
from each other for a while. Yeah,
It's
that's
amazing.
funny, man. I was blown away. I never heard about it. Any of wholesaling investing.
Oh, what do you
I was
mean? Do you
blown
make
away
five
at that
k
stuff.
with a contract? What? Like all day, right? Like,
So quick story. So I went there and I was like, what? I got psyched. I'm like, this is what I'm gonna do. I went home, started writing all this stuff. And it wasn't cheap to get into their mentorship. I think it was
oh, it
like,
was very expensive.
yeah, I think it was like 80 grand, bro. So I
It
go
was up.
home, I'm writing all this stuff. My wife walks in, she's like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, I'm gonna become a real estate investor. She's like, okay. I'm like, I just need $80,000. She's like, whoa, 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 slow down, slow down.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
I had
yeah,
the
that's
same
funny.
conversation that night when I got home. I'm like breaking out the credit cards. I'm like, all right, I think I can.
How are we
We
gonna
could
do
probably,
this?
yeah, we could do this. We could do this a couple ways. I didn't sign up for Fortune Builders, but
Okay,
it was
good because
enough.
I heard not a lot of good things from that mentorship. So,
Yeah, listen, mentorships. I'm in mentorships now, right?
oh yeah,
But
me too. I understand them. Yeah,
you got to find the right tribe, right? It was something that fits you. Like I found what fits me, right? Not
yeah,
everything is going to fit everybody, and not every mentorship is kind of based on the same principles.
yeah.
It takes time.
So my first mentorship, I went to Fortune Builders, and then my wife slowed me down. She's like, "Babe, you're not gonna buy this for 80 grand. Like, stop. Do some
It's a
due
college
diligence, do some
education right
research, discernment, man. You listen to your wife. Yeah, listen to your wives." And then I started doing some research. I found this mentor that was doing the same thing. His motivation was that he got burnt by Fortune Builders, so he started his own mentorship that was affordable. It was literally 3,500 to get in. Um, I did his course, and I got my first deal in a month and a half,
there. Amazing.
and that's it. Never look back.
See, we hesitated. We didn't buy any formal education until Astro Flipping,
Okay.
which was like 2019. But we spun our wheels. Like we really were overthinkers. I just putting an LLC together, right? We spent like 6 weeks trying to come up with a name. Like you and I both know, right? You do a deal, like no one, like what's your LLC? Like no one cares.
No
No
one
one cares
cares.
what the name is. No one's like, great. That's where we send the check to. Awesome.
Yeah,
Like we spent 6 weeks trying to figure it. So we really overthought everything. And there's a lot of people that I talk to that step into this business or attempting to start, and they overthink everything. They overthink how
absolutely.
to talk to a seller. They overthink how to go on an appointment.
Mhm.
What do I put on the contract? What do I do if I get it under contract? Right? All these extra steps. Right? For now, it's like in the beginning, just get someone to say yes. I want to meet in person.
Yeah,
Figure the rest out. Right? You're going to fumble and trip over yourself in the beginning. I mean, Marco, you make mistakes, right? I still make mistakes every day,
absolutely.
right?
Hmm.
And you just kind of like, all right, I made a mistake, moving on, keep going. We didn't do our first deal until winter of like 2018. So like that's like a year and a half.
Wow. Okay.
And we did that deal because of meetups, right? Attending meetups. There was a gentleman, his name was Jordan. He was expanding his marketing campaign. So he was wholesaling and he needed someone to be boots on the ground up in like Bergen County, Passaic County. And we're like, I'm in. So we met him at a meetup. He approached us. I'm like, listen, I could go on the appointments. I could do all the things. I'm trained. I'm coachable. I'm trainable. Just show me the ropes.
Hmm.
It took 2 weeks. We were under contract. It was crazy. Like
Nice.
18 months of spinning your wheels, partner up with someone. 2 weeks, you got a contract.
Yeah.
And then we got our first check, 30 days later.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, taking action, man. So many people get analysis paralysis, right? They're reading so much, they want to create a perfect LLC or
Yeah,
CRM system. Now everybody's obsessed with CRMs. They didn't even do a deal yet. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it's good to have the foundation, but focus on what it's about. And what it's about is taking action, taking all the information that you're getting, whether from YouTube, a mentorship that you trust, and then just taking action. Do exactly what they say, right? Don't try to reinvent the wheel. If they say make 150 calls per day. I don't know if anybody says that. I'm just using an example. Make 150 calls per day, right? Use
yeah,
their script. Later on, you can modify everything and make it yours, add your personality to it, but don't try to reinvent the wheel. Take action and get it done.
100%. And
It's real
those
simple.
150 calls, right? Like
Yes.
we just had a discussion earlier this week, and it's the same conversation 100 times. I've had this conversation 100 times. That's the reason why it's easy for me to get on the phone and just chop it up with a seller. Like, hey, what are you looking to do?
Yeah.
What trying to diagnose like what the problem is, almost like a doctor, right? You get on the call, you know they want to sell, they're in a situation. What's the right remedy to the situation? You figure that out after a while.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. So, all right, you start taking action. You did your first deal. You partnered up with somebody. Go to meetups, people, right? He went to a meetup. He knew a lot of information. Jason literally went to a meetup and got a deal through a meetup, right? That somebody he met there. So go to meetups in your local area. So what's next? So I know you do buy and hold, or you flip your own stuff, right? What was your first investment property that you actually purchased, not wholesale?
So we can rewind the tape to like 2012. I mean, we did a 5% down on the duplex, right? So we rented the other half out, lived in one side.
That the one that you lived around the corner from me?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
That was our first purchase. Accidental landlord, right? We found that at that time, right, because of the income and the qualifications and the way the mortgage industry was. I couldn't qualify for a single family. And then my buddy Wayne, who I spoke about, he's like, just get a duplex, just rent the other half out. It's your first house.
Yeah.
All right. So I bought a duplex. And 7 years to buy our next property. We did the same thing, right? 5% down, jumped into the next property. So that's a big gap.
Yeah.
Intentional investing, right? Like actual, like going out there and looking for it. I would say that wholesale deal is the first one. Along the way, again, like I said, I studied everything. So like I used to joke, I knew more than the amount of deals that I've done. Like I could literally, I felt like a college professor that teaches business, but never owned a business at the time, right?
Gotcha.
Like, yeah, and there's a lot of that, but not to poke fun at college professors if you're a college professor out there. But the reality is like I knew about self-directing, right? So I started self-directing. I had created my own retirement account from my electrical contracting business.
Got it. You transferred it over
So
to a self-directed IRA,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
that's
So I
that's
started self-directing.
can you explain to our listeners what that is?
So it's essentially an IRA or 401k, depending on how your sponsoring business is structured, and it gives you checkbook control. So it gives you the ability to invest in alternative assets that are not on Wall Street. So if Marco or myself are raising capital for a project and you happen to have one of these types of accounts, you could then loan us money to go and fund the project. And then we'll give you a return or we cut you in on the equity. There's a million different ways to structure these deals. But it's not just, real estate based, right? It can be business, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm buying a franchise somewhere and I need to raise capital.
Yeah.
You can self-direct into that franchise. There's a lot of ways that you can utilize these accounts that are beyond, just buying stocks and bonds and ETFs.
Absolutely. We just recently got into a self-directed IRA, and that's what we're going to be focusing on the lending side of things now. So
Awesome.
that's in the works. We spoke about this, Jay, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad
You
to
gave
see,
me
I'm
some
glad to
direction
see you
on it.
got launched.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I'm definitely going to do an episode to help people understand self-directed IRAs, how it works, you could transfer your 401k into that. So we're
It's huge.
definitely going to touch base on it. So you did that early. This is
Yeah.
what 2000.
2017, right? So I'm like,
Awesome.
I wanted to have access to capital, and I recognized that, right? We had like a couple HELOCs, right, from the first property. We had in the second property, the solo K you're allowed to take a personal loan from, right? So I'm like, all right, how do I set myself up and capitalize myself for the next purchase? But by doing that, people approached me and they're like, "Hey, we need X amount of dollars for a project. Would you like to loan to us?" So I did a few of those along the way. So I was wholesaling and self-directing at the same time, and I was learning the flow of how to lend money. We get out into, like, again, studying finance, right? I consider myself to be a student of finance. 2019, I learned about infinite banking. I'm like, all right, this is interesting. That's a
Nice.
whole nother rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Um, Tried to find, uh, you know, insurance agents that can structure policies that give me the ability to leverage that concept. Couldn't find it. I went and got licensed myself a few years later, and I learned the inner workings of that. So I became life insurance licensed in 2022. So to this day, I still work on a lot of life insurance projects for investors and even regular stuff. Listen, there's a need for it, even just for protection purposes, right? It's not all about how to leverage these policies and loan money and all these other things. There's a place for it in our portfolios, but learned how to do all that. So, like I said, I really went deep on the finance side. Then creative finance with sub two, right? Understanding how to structure all of these different deals, how people are putting strategies together and not having to bring loans into the mix.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. A lot of people, wow. So you were analyzing a lot. You were learning because I got introduced to infinite banking and everything once I started making money in real estate, right? Like,
Yes.
I started with wholesaling. Then you get into buy and hold or end flipping. Like, oh, I could flip this myself, or I could buy this for myself, rent it out. Then you get introduced to all this other stuff. So you started reverse. You like reverse engineered the whole thing. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty cool, man. Because it's so important to be financially literate in this industry. Because a lot of young guys get started. Let's say they start wholesaling like 24 in their 20s. They're making $20,000-$30,000 checks, closing 4 or 5 deals per month. They got all this
Yes.
money. They don't know what to do with it. They
Yeah.
rent Lambos. They go on vacation and then come back in debt. Right.
Yeah.
So it's important for us as seasoned investors to help new people getting into the business to understand the finances, understand IRAs, understand taxes and how it works,
Yeah.
and depreciation, all that good stuff, man. But it's pretty awesome that you learned that in the beginning. So I don't want to lose track. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of gold you're
There's
sharing here,
lots.
man.
I got lost. I had a lot of balls in the air back then.
so
Right?
so we're all right. So you get your first deal. You pretty much house hacked it. Now, was it covering your mortgage? You were renting it out. Was the rates
About
good enough?
60, about 60%, 60, 70%.
That's
Right.
great, man. That's great. So you
Yeah.
you got into your
Awesome.
first deal. Um, but it was conventional, right? You got a five
Yes.
percent down. So what was the next project after that?
So we bought a single family, right, and then started renting that out, and that was cash flowing, right. We were like, okay, this is great. We got a little cash flow out of the duplex.
So is your idea at this point, now that you have an understanding of financial, you're leaning more towards buy and hold at this point?
No, I've actually reversed it. We've sold all our rentals off.
Wow,
So yeah, I mean, like I said, it sounds like I'm all over the place. So let me tighten it up. But um, studying all these strategies, we're still wholesaling, we're still self-directing, and then we go and pull the trigger and buy our own property, our own fix and flip.
got it.
The first one we did completely solo was in 2023. So we realized that we had all of these different buckets of money. So
Hmm.
we just put it together, pulled the trigger, and bought a little fix and flip in Manchester. We were successful. We made profit. The next one was a three family in Newark. We purchased subject to, and then we go to a couple other private money transactions in the middle of all that, and a couple wholesale deals, and then we're into a couple other fix and flip projects in 2025. So we've structured a lot of things. So I like to look at the leads that come in these days, and I'm like, all right, how can I monetize these leads? Am I taking it down? Am I maybe helping someone dispo it as a wholesale? Maybe I'm coming in as private money and wedging myself into the deal. We look at a lot of different structures. So today we don't have any rentals today. One thing we discovered, and with the help of our community and the mentorship, is what's serving us. What do we want to do? What do we not want to do? And one of the things on the list is I did not want to operate as an electrician, whether it was in my own business anymore or working out of the union hall. So in order to do that, right, we have to look at our active income replacement. And buying rentals can be a slow grind unless you're Warren Buffett and you're just dumping money out into the marketplace,
Yeah,
right? We're
absolutely.
not Warren Buffett. So I needed to replace my active income, and there's only really two ways to do that, right? Or three ways, right? We can loan money for quick turns to wholesalers and some other investors that are doing quick turns. We can wholesale, which is probably the quickest of those, or we can fix and flip. So you have like today money, tomorrow money, and future money. Future money would be rentals. So we're like focused on today and tomorrow money, which is wholesale and fix and flip. We're going to return to buy and hold probably 18 months from now, but I'd be lying if I said, and if an opportunity presented itself right now, that we wouldn't just refinance out and hold it. Or if we took it down creatively, it made sense to hold it. But we don't want to hold residential rentals anymore. We want to pivot and go into the larger assets. So they would essentially be future 1031 exchanges as we identified bigger properties that we want.
Got it. Got it. That's good stuff right there. So all right. So you worked in different parts of real estate. You've done flips, buy and holds, foreclosure prevention, got
Yeah.
creative deals. Now, where do you feel the most connected to right now? Like what is it that you're like an expert in that you're like, oh, this is what I love.
I love stopping the banks, right? I love the pre foreclosure leads, working with homeowners, getting them out of the foreclosure. Sometimes they stay in the house, right? It's a great feeling, right? If we're able to just pivot and say, hey, you can stay here if we do X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
it's awesome. It's an awesome feeling. But it's also great to know like we bought a house that didn't go to the bank and we were able to help these people reset their life. That's one thing that's really speaking to me big time right now.
Yeah.
And we get cool projects, right? We get to renovate. I enjoy piecing together how we're gonna, you know, return the property and restore the property back to like a nice retail value,
Mhm.
get it on the market, and if I have someone that ends up buying a nice home.
Absolutely, man. There's nothing like that helping a homeowner, right, in distress. So many situations where we have tons of testimonies where they're like, oh, we were such a bad place. Marco came in, he actually helped us, make some money and relocate or retire, or somebody passed away and you got to help them
Yeah,
out. Like, there's nothing more satisfying than helping people get out of a tough situation, right? And the fact that you're able to build rapport and they trust you with that, right? One of the biggest assets that they have, one of the biggest investments that they're holding on to, right? They're trusting guys like us to get them to the promised land, right?
yeah,
And I think it just ignites a whole nother fire where you're not doing it just for the check that you're getting at this point, right? Like you're in there. You spend time with the seller. You see their situation. You're probably at the house, saw their family, right? And that just brings a whole different motivation to get it done. And
absolutely,
once you get it done, it's a feeling that I can't explain. And that's truly when I started falling in love with real estate.
absolutely. And some of these, like I said, some of these we don't even buy, right? Like I think we've helped more people stay in their home than actually buy their house,
Wow,
right?
that's awesome.
So you're still putting time and energy in, and like people ask us all the time, like, well, how can you just like be cool with like you're not making anything? I'm like, I don't give me a testimonial, like explain to people that we're not just sharks trying to take your equity, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I don't need to buy every house. I mean, a lot of times now today, it's like a lot of people bring me leads directly, and they're trying to piece it together, trying to figure it all out. And I have the ability, like I just have a skill set where I can dissect it, look at it, and say we can do X, Y, and Z. This makes sense. But did they do A, B, and C first, right?
Yeah.
Because anyone that does pre foreclosure, I mean, there's a few methodologies that can be implemented before you say, listen, you have to make the hard decision to sell, right? And a lot of people haven't even exercised those options yet. So we have that open conversation, and that's what kind of makes us more desirable to work with than say someone that's basically like, hey, I could close fast, you can leave your stuff behind, we pay cash, right? That's typically what they're hearing versus, hey, what have you done so far? Have you talked to your bank? Do you know like all the options that you may have still available to you? And they're like, no. Well, what do you mean? And we have that conversation.
That's good, man. It's important to educate them, right? They're in a tough situation. They have to trust you, but you have to be knowledgeable of what you're saying. Be relatable. Put yourself in their shoes and help them out of the situation, so they could get in a better place. Now, all right. So you're in real estate. You join a mentorship. You learned all this stuff. Now you have different strategies that you could utilize to close deals, which is awesome, right? A lot of people just have one method. You could analyze the deal and see which direction you want to go to. So that's gold right there. That's important to have. Now, what led you to start a meetup group? Was it that you just wanted to share the information?
It was well, so I'm in the owners club mastermind with Pace Morby, and he was adamant about us getting out of our own way, getting on social media,
Mhm.
posting videos, documenting the things that we're doing. And I'm like, all right, I need to do that because I do see people that are doing it, and the the amount of business that they've done, like the amount of opportunities that have been sent their way, the credibility, everything, right? It's all documented. And I'm like, it's pretty amazing. And it looks like they're having a great time. And I have fun doing this business. So I'm like, let me just start filming some of the stuff I'm doing
Mhm.
and start posting it. And I'm like, I'll start a meetup. So I connected with a couple guys, and we ran a few meetups last year, and then we migrated over to a new space, and then we continued to do it with a few different people. And what we found was it's just been a lot of fun. People come out that truly want to connect and learn and try to get their first deal. And it's really fun to try to get people their first deal. So we like to mix it up, right? Instead of it being instructional, we involve the room, right? So we run it very mastermind like. So it's open conversation. There's definitely people that come to my meetups that have way more clout than I do, right? Way more HUDs under their belt than I do. We incorporate all of them in the conversation because I'm learning from them. The room's learning from them. We're all learning from each other. People bring unique problems, and we try to collectively solve it. And we have different topics each month, so we mix it up. We keep it interesting.
Absolutely, man. And we've been in the business a long time. And still to this day, every time I go to a meetup or somebody's meetup like yours, I get invited, I show up, like I get value out of it. There's always someone there that actually I get like, wow, that was awesome. Let me try to implement that in my business. And it could be a small tweak, super small tweak that'll change everything in your business, man. So
Absolutely.
I guess the biggest takeaway, what's the biggest takeaway that you get? What is the biggest takeaway people get for coming to your first to one of your meetups?
I think that they're not alone, right? If they're trying, a lot of newer people come out to the meetups. A lot of experienced people come out to the meetups too. But I'd say the vast majority are newer people. And I think they're discovering that, hey, you know what? I don't have to do this business alone. There are people I could partner with to try and do this business because this is a team sport, right? If you're doing this business alone, it's a lonely road.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know about you, but I've never done a real estate deal that didn't involve multiple parties. Like I have a team,
yeah,
right? You got to have a team, right? So if you're trying to answer all the questions yourself, which is the reason why it took us so long to get to that first check,
yeah.
because we're trying to do everything ourselves, right? We didn't structure a team around us. You go to these meetups, you find people that you vibe with, that you trust. You're like, you know what, I could work with this person. You give it a go, and you learn the inner workings of a transaction, and from there you can graduate to larger transactions.
Yeah, that's amazing, bro. That's gold right there. And I think real estate really leads you to that, right? Helping you understand that it's a team effort. To this day, I've been in the business, almost 9 years now, and I still do JV deals with people.
Sure.
I could just hold out, close the deal myself, but I choose to do JVs, especially with newer investors, because it builds such a strong relationship. It's not about the deal that we're closing today, the deal that we're making a quick $10,000 on. It's about the deals that we're going to do in 5 years, right? And once you build that relationship with newer investors, older investors, then you have a pipeline of just people that you trust and could work with, and vice versa. Right when they get stuck in a deal, they're sending you deals, and you get stuck in a deal, and they closed on that one, a year ago in Newark. You can reach out to them and still get deals done. It brings you so much further if you think about the future and just don't worry about the check, just worry about building relationships.
Yeah. Absolutely. Direct a relationship, right? That's the name of the game. And
Yeah.
the JV thing is huge. Like I'm good on acquisitions. I can't stand doing dispo. So like for me, like if I get a contract, I'm like, I'm gonna wholesale it. I'll just someone else can just do my dispo for me. I'm
Yeah.
good. Let's split the fee. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when I contact a wholesaler and I'm like, I'm interested in the property, and they're like, add your fee on top. And I'm like, I have someone that really wants this. Like, why don't we just like break me off a piece of your fee.
Yeah.
If I add my fee on top, maybe this doesn't even make sense.
It
I,
doesn't.
I don't operate on that scarcity mentality. I think there's enough in there. We
Yeah.
can make this work. I also like efficiency,
Mhm.
right? I like sending it out to 1,000 people, like a lead, like if you're wholesaling,
Mhm.
you're going to get a lot of tire kickers. I'd rather just go, I know 3 or 4 people in that marketplace
Mhm.
that are proven, trusted closers.
Mhm.
How do we put this together? What's the fastest way to simplifying this transaction? So we're not doing answering 100 emails, 100 different questions. It's just like a couple people, boom, boom, boom. We're in and out, done. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, that's how you do it. And I love dispoing, bro. I love it. I like more the
Yeah.
dispo side than I do the acquisition. I
I'll
like
call you the
I
next
like
one I
dealing
get.
with buyers. I bust their chops. You know what I mean? Like it's fun for me. I love to do it. So all right,
I'll,
so
I'll send I'll send you the next one. I'll be like, hey, I
let me
got
know.
another
We'll
one
get
for
it
you.
done. We'll get it done. So you got a unique angle, right? Like you understand both real estate and financial services. Is this what led you towards insurance?
Yeah, because the idea of creating your own financing is very attractive, right? Because I understand in real estate, capital is everything, right? Listen, if we get a zero down deal, awesome. But the reality is there's still renovations that have to go in.
Yeah.
There's still closing
Closing
costs. There's
costs,
still holding
exactly.
costs,
Mhm.
right? There's still things that we need to pay out to
Mhm.
do a deal, to execute a deal. And the concept, the infinite banking concept, is about creating your own financing, but it goes beyond just investing.
Mhm.
The ability to create your own financing for anything. Want to buy a car? Don't need to go to a bank. Don't need to go to a bank. It doesn't show up on your credit report. When I'm applying for a refinance, my debt to income's better,
Yeah.
right? Well, if I can just buy the car from money that I have in my life insurance, and then I pay that loan back to my life insurance,
Mhm.
I recaptured the money and I still have the car. Now it's still a loan, right? I still have to pay interest on it, but I'm not paying interest in money to an institution anymore.
Yeah.
It goes back into my own resource.
Mhm.
So that concept was very attractive to me. So I studied that. It's all connected, right? When you look at how you have to develop these different buckets of assets as you continue to invest, it's a question of options and when to execute those options to leverage the ones that are going to make an investment make the most sense for an investment.
Yeah. That's good, man. So what was a book that you read? Was it a mentorship or like where'd you start understanding these methods?
So that the self-directed part, the self-directed 401k part came from podcasts.
Okay.
There is a book right now by Matt Sorensen, the Self-Directed IRA Handbook. It's a very into the weeds. So for my overthinkers out there, you're going to be ecstatic when you read this book. It goes deep. It covers IRA and 401k.
What's the name of the book?
The Self-Directed IRA Handbook by
Okay.
Matt Sorensen.
I've heard about that.
Very, very good book. Very, very technical book. Very technical read. Um, that's one. The other one is what would the Rockefellers do? So that's
Okay.
another, again, the infinite banking concept.
Yeah, I read that's where I got introduced reading what would the Rockefellers do?
And then the Nelson Nash book, which is becoming your own banker.
Yeah.
Now I will like disclaimer, right? Like for the insurance industry does not favor, so for the most part, does not favor viewing life insurance as a infinite banking product, right? These are money concepts, so think of them as money concepts.
Hmm.
And then when you want to have the conversation for insurance and things like that, look at it like I'm still acquiring an insurance policy. Because I won't talk about infinite banking. I'll talk about how you can use the insurance policy. Because you could pull loans from your cash value in your insurance policy
Yeah.
at any time, at any age, and you just pay it back. And you can use it for anything you want. It doesn't show up on your credit. It doesn't change anything in terms of like time frame of repayment, right? You can be very flexible in that respect. So it's a very advantageous tool, but it requires an injection of money in to get the kind of loans that are, I guess, um, it gives you the kind of to get the kind of loans out of it that maybe would make a difference in your investment portfolio, right? Because we do need money in, money out, right?
Absolutely. No, that's awesome, man. So how do you personally balance the two worlds of real estate and insurance?
This is an interesting thing because I would say up until 2 years ago, I was scattered, right? I was doing insurance, I was running my own business still on the side. I was still working out of the hall predominantly, trying to flip, trying to acquire rentals, and it's too much, right? And 2 years ago, I went to the Pace's mastermind. He had a 3 day mastermind event, and we spent a lot of time honing in on personal development at that mastermind. And one of the things from a recording when I was discussing my businesses, it occurred to me that I sound like a scatterbrain. If you asked me what I was doing at that point in time, I would give you all 5 of those things, and you're like, wait, what do you do? What do you actually do?
Like entrepreneur
So
sancocho.
yeah, it's crazy. So in the last like 18 months, I've really narrowed my focus. So primarily, I'm a fix and flipper, right? That's what I do. I write offers to wholesalers. I write offers to agents. Do I run some of my own marketing? Yeah, I do some SMS text messaging, but predominantly the leads come to me. I built relationships up. People send me opportunities. I analyze it. I decide whether or not I should offer on it. I write an offer. At the same time, on the life insurance side, people refer me for business. So I'm not actively cold calling. I'm not chained to a desk. I'm an independent broker now, and I basically work with individuals that have an interest or a need, and it's at my own discretion.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it seems like you're in a great place, right? Like you went through all the chaos, you went through all the contracting, you learned pretty much everything and tested everything in real estate, and now you're at a comfortable place where you're getting steady business and just
That's it.
crushing it, right?
That's it. And the electrical stuff still flows in, right? I still have
Okay,
some accounts, but what do? I sub it out.
there you go.
If I put the tools on once a month, like no, it's refreshing, right? I threw some tools on, but I sub the work out. There's people that want the work. I have the connections. We look at a job together. Hey, what do you think? All right. I put my margin on top if we can work it out successfully. I don't want to know anything about the job though,
Yeah,
right? Like if you have an issue with a light bulb or something silly, like figure it out. Like you've subbed it out to you, right? And
yeah,
and that's that owner mentality, operator mentality.
that
Like,
is.
hey, listen, this is now your responsibility. I will facilitate whatever tools or equipment or material you need, but you're the installer.
Yeah, and that comes with that's growth, right? What you sound like a business owner now, like compared to your 2017 self, where you were doing everything yourself, putting all your eggs in one basket. You're the only
Yep,
one that could get it done. Fast forward, you're pretty much just sitting back and just delegating everything as it comes in, right? And that's a true owner mentality where you're working on your business and not in your business, right?
100%.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
awesome.
when I was working at the union, right, we'd go out to these companies that maybe have 30 or 40 employees. The owner of the company would never, like, no one ever saw the owner of the company. Like, you didn't even know what the guy looked like or
Yeah,
woman looked like, right?
yeah,
And people would crack jokes about project managers that would come out and not understand anything we're doing in the field.
yeah,
And again, like at the time, small thinking, I'm like, yeah, look at the project manager. He's making all that money. He doesn't know what we're doing here.
yeah.
And it's not about your abilities in the field that are going to equal the bigger paychecks. That person is a skilled individual in terms of putting a team together to go do the technical installation that we're doing. And that's why that person's getting paid for it. The owner is the one financing all of our payroll, all of our material, all of our trucks, all of our equipment, and has the ability to go out and sit with other high net worth individuals or companies
Hmm.
and say, my team can provide the service. These are the projects that we're currently working on to
Yeah,
continue to employ us.
yeah.
Once you start to look at it that way, it changes everything. And I learned that from the financial services side when I was being trained. Um, Paul, who was the manager at the office when I was there, said to me, you had your own contracting business. You were actually working for commissions
Hmm.
instead of an hourly rate. I used to think of myself as hourly, right?
Yeah,
And bill myself hourly. But he's like, those are actual commissions.
yeah.
And your ability to sell your company's skills, you're actually in sales. So if I had become better at sales as an electrical contractor and not better as an electrician, I probably would have grown my business substantially.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting take, man. It's important to have that outside voice where they could do an audit of what
Yes.
you're good at, what you're not. Like for a long time, I thought I was actually really good at sales, and turns out I wasn't. It wasn't that I wasn't good in sales, but you have to have a certain type of mentality, right? Your personality. Like you got to be pretty much like a killer. Like, oh wow,
Yes.
that sucks. Yeah, sign here. You know what I mean? Like I have too much empathy, so it gets in
Yes.
the way of me closing as many deals as I
You
should.
and
I
I
still
are
got a
very
lot
much
of
the same.
deals, but once I got out of my own way and put somebody else who was a killer, like
Yeah.
our leads and our sales and our contracts just through
Yeah.
the roof.
You and I are very much the same in that respects. We're more operator mentality.
Yeah,
We have a vision. We also know how to operate it.
absolutely.
And the sales team needs to just kind of like take that directive and just do what they do best.
Yeah, absolutely. So for before we wrap it up, for someone listening who's in a trade or blue collar job but dreaming about getting into real estate, what's your advice for them to get started?
Sure. Go to meetups, number one.
Nice.
At night, yeah, I know you're tired. It's been a long, hot day. It's been a long, cold day. I've been there. I climbed cell towers in the winter for 4 years straight when I went back to the hall. And that's what gave me the ability to like focus on one thing. So go to these meetups, meet the people that are actually doing the business, meet people that have been in the business for a while, and learn what speaks to you, right? Because not everyone should wholesale, not everyone should lend money,
Yeah.
not everyone should fix and flip. You have to figure out what speaks to you, and that's where you're going to find the most success.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Good stuff. So we're gonna put everything for you, links so everybody can get in touch with you, whether it's everything that you do, bro. You need some electrical work, whether you need some insurance or some creative financing, coaching, all that good stuff, or your meetup. But why don't you share with everybody where they can follow you, your Instagram, all that good stuff.
Sure, sure. I'm very active on Instagram, so it's the Jason Staine. That's my IG, and I post my meetup information there. We have an email that goes out, so if you find me on there, hit me up. I'm always in the DMs. You'll always be able to get a hold of me. And from there, we run a meetup first Saturday of the month in Union, New Jersey. Although November we couldn't secure a date, we're going to be making an announcement for more of a regional type of event. December we're back in Union, and we keep rolling into the new year
Yeah,
with some pretty big announcements.
awesome, man. Send me that information. I definitely want to attend with my team. Jason, thank you for showing up. Tons of gold. I knew you were going to bring a lot of value for our listeners. Guys, make sure you follow him on Instagram. Jason is an open book. If you see him at one of my meetups as well, he'll just sit there and talk to you about anything you
Yeah,
want to know. So make sure you follow him. Make sure you hit him up if you have any questions. He's there for you, man. Jason, thank you for showing up. Really appreciate your time, brother.
Marco, thank you for having me. It's been awesome. This
Awesome,
is
man.
so great. Congrats on everything.
Thank you,
You've
man.
come
Really,
such a long way.
really appreciate it. Hey, quick story. When I got my first office, Jason came. We didn't even have our furniture in there, and he brought me a plant. Remember?
Yes,
The money plant.
yes. Money tree, the
Money
money
tree,
tree
money
plant.
tree. Yeah, yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, thank you for
That
that.
thing's got to be 10 feet tall by now.
Yeah, yeah, I got it outside. It's in my future office that's getting built outside.
Awesome.
So yeah, man. Good stuff.
Love it. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks again. Hey guys, we'll see you in the next episode.